Welcome to Infrastructure Week, where we cover all things lending tech and transformation. I'm Dave Silverstein, founder and CEO of Ned.
We do see a lot of businesses coming to us who have existing loans, and they've gotten these loans via various ways. I'm not talking about a loan with Chase or Citibank. I'm talking about a loan with a lender who no one's ever heard of, but yet they have a loan with them, meaning no average person has heard of it. Yeah, the average person on the street doesn't know this company. These loans tend to have daily draws or, very quick payback periods, months, that are based on some formula. Usually they're based on their credit card transactions or their daily average deposits or something like that. And these lenders are reaching out in an aggressive way to borrowers to pitch their services and pitch their loans, I should say, and close those loans. And that, let me take a step. That's what happened a couple of years ago. That's how everything was sort of running. And I would see borrowers coming and say, I have this really expensive debt. These folks really have hurt the cash flow of my business. Yes, I did sign up for that loan. I did take it. It was quick money. I needed it for whatever reason. But it was a horrible mistake on my part. Can you help me out? And what I've seen more happening now is, as the world has gone the route of, I don't know what the right word is, maybe a technologist would know it, but more of a sort of an API kind of world or a synchronized kind of world. There's the controller of that data. So you're buying you as a business subscribe to a point of sale device. You use QuickBooks or some accounting software, or you use a merchant service of some sort. Yep. And they now understand a really unique part of your business. They sort of could really understand in a concrete way your average daily sales, your average credit card transaction, some key data point that they're measuring.
Even more than that, they know your inventory, they know your accounts receivable, they know not just what's happened yesterday, they know what potentially is about to happen over the course of the next day, week, quarter. Yeah, it's backward and forward looking.
Businesses in your industry just like you, and they know how they're handling what's going on in their businesses. So I'm just going to use the point of sale terminal because it fits in well actually what we're talking about. So you're managing your restaurant. You have this point of sale terminal. It manages your daily ticket, so that we know your daily tickets for each table. You're putting in there your cost of goods. You're putting into that point of sale all sorts of stuff. And whoever sells you that point of sale terminal knows quite a bit. And they have the ability to sort of decide to offer you a loan, knowing a lot about you without ever having collected anything, just because they're managing your data. And while some of that is easy in the sense it's just a 2-click loan, literally just pops up on your screen. It says, hey, you want a loan this amount with this payback? And, you couldn't think of an easier process. It's not exactly a democratic process because no one else sees that data.
Right.
No one else has the ability to get you the best deal on that loan. No one else has the ability to talk to you and say, look, while this is 3 clicks, this other thing may be 10 clicks, but it's a much better deal. So, those things they're not transparent. The industry is, like I said, it's siloed. Businesses don't have the ability to shop it around without doing the old-fashioned thing, which is going from bank to bank or going from, lender to lender to get that better deal. And that bank may not have as much information as that point of sale terminal has.
Right. And so if you look at a bank account is giving you balances. Bank account is giving you deposit expenses, maybe categorizing it well, and depending on the bank, it's up in the air on how they kind of parse certain types of transactions out. So you're saying that a point of sale for an underwriter, for a modern lender like you, actually holds more value than a potential bank account? Is that kind of where you're going, or it holds value as much or potentially more? Or
I don't know if it's more. I can't tell you that if it's more. I can tell you 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even more, we have a loan committee, volunteers who review our loans, right? They're bankers who, like I said, as a nonprofit, this is sort of community give back. You're a banker, you're a lawyer, you're an accountant. You're going to volunteer your time to hear out loans, right, and approve them or disapprove them and such. And I had a banker, a small business banker, who told me some years back, I could tell a lot more about a business by looking at their bank statements than I could by looking at their tax returns or any financial statements they're going to give me. But she was talking about the small business. We're not talking about companies here, because to the small business, how things happen on a day to day is what matters. Now, she said that before the boom of technology even happened, before the point of sales controlled all of that environment, before the 2-click loan. And, it's just an extension of that same idea. The closer you are to understanding how every second the business operates, because the tax returns told you a year, your quarterly financials told you quarterly. The bank statements are telling you every transaction, right? But now sometimes they're being bundled into daily deposits on credit cards. But what if you wanted to see how that all breaks out, where you're how big, how small? The point of sale system knows that.
Right.
The system knows how you're comparing to other folks in that industry better than traditional industry. So that data is sitting with one entity, and that entity has a better insight and more control than anybody else, than any other possible viable lender. And I think one thing that as an industry we should think about is, how do we make that data easily transferable to other lenders so that they could also offer competitive products?
Let me break this down. This is super helpful to hear, because technology plays a role here, right? Whether it's infrastructure, whether it's the point of sale partners themselves, you're saying, for the sake of, frankly, leveling the playing field for the borrower, for giving the consumer, the small business owner, the option, allowing them to really take the data that's occurring on these platforms, whether it's a Square, a Toast, any Shopify, for instance, and any number of other point of sale platforms, if they were able to very easily take that data and provide it to different lenders for underwriting, that would allow for them to potentially get qualified for really strong products, stronger rates or interest in fees, things of that sort. Is it a completely dark box right now? It's when let's say a retail business or a restaurant, for instance, based in Jamaica, comes to you and they're operating off of these systems. Have they ever tried to provide this data upfront, or is it kind of just moot because it's so difficult? Either they can't get it off the platform, they can't provide it in a serviceable fashion. Maybe they've given it to you as like a raw data file, but you can't make any sense of it. Has there been that friction yet, or is it just completely off limits right now?
And we've tried the exports or things like it never seems to work.
Right.
It just, at least at the businesses that we're dealing with here, again, these are like storefront businesses and things like that. They're giving me screenshots. Like, that's as good as I'm going to get.
Right.
And,
right.
It's just not easy enough. I
Right.
feel like it needs to be a very, very easy process that anybody could walk through that really could help them shop that loan, and not keep it siloed, because, that data really belongs to the business, and they should have the ability to shop that around